What up, y'all? It's your boy Martin, aka the Boxing Purist. Welcome once again to the Truth and Absolute channel, where I speak the truth and nothing but the truth. So help me, good God Almighty. All right, y'all. Now listen, if you're new to the channel, make sure that you hit that subscribe button before you take off. If you want to get into some good boxing conversation, drop a comment down below. I love having, discussions with my dudes in here. We keep it civil. We talk boxing. We leave the feelings at the door. And we talk boxing straight up and down. You know what I'm saying? None of the other stuff. If you've been part of the channel, if you've been subscribed, much love. And I appreciate you guys being here once again. And remember, y'all, if y'all like this video, share this video, do all that. I'm trying to get it rolling. I'm trying to get it popping. You know what I'm saying? Why not? Why not? Anyway, yo, so somebody in my last video, or the video before I believe it was, told me about an interview that David Benavidez just did on the Fresh and Fit podcast, I believe it's called. Fresh and Fit podcast, yeah. I just took a minute to look at the video, and I must say, I'm very, very surprised. You know what I'm saying? David's been doing a lot of, interviews lately, and we do get the chopped and screwed version, you know what I'm saying? And what I mean by that is, out of a whole video, all we hear is David Benavidez talking about Canelo's scared, Canelo's ducking, and he's really emotional while saying it. You know, he's almost angry. He's emotional about it. You know what I'm saying? And in this interview that he did with Fresh and Fit, it was, you almost saw a different side of David. Now, I'm going to be real with y'all. I kind of gave into the same thing. Myself in boxing, it's not that you got to be respectful. It's not that you got to bow down to who's the champion and all that. You know what I'm saying? But if you're trying to land an opportunity to fight someone that's at the top of the game, let me put it to you guys like this, okay? When somebody's making a big deal, you know what I'm saying? Like a big business deal. And let's just say that you got the guy with the small food truck on the side of the road, right? And he's trying to sell himself to the CEO of McDonald's to invest into his product, and he wants him to give him an opportunity. You're not going to hear the little business, the food truck owner, yapping about the up guy. You're not going to hear him talking trash about the McDonald's CEO. Oh, man, he's scared to invest in me because I'm going to take over his business. Oh, you're not going to hear them talking like that, and it's for a reason, right? The CEO is in the driver's seat. You need him. He doesn't need you. And that's the same thing with Benavidez and his camp on how they were speaking about Canelo. No one needs to bow down to Canelo, and you're welcome to call Canelo out if that's what you want to do. A little criticism, whatever. But when you start talking crazy, the man in the driver's seat could really quick say, now you wait your turn or you don't get a turn at all. It's that simple. But in seeing this interview, I'm going to be real, David seems like a very likable dude. He seems like a really, really cool cat. It's unfortunate that a lot of people, including myself, we see certain interviews and we have a certain image about David. But I mean, it's the Truth and Absolute channel. We got to keep it straight up and down. And even myself, I've made videos, saying a little bit things more than I should. I never really attacked David. It's more his character trying to get the Canelo fight and his teams. You know what I'm saying? David Benavidez is David Benavidez. He's young, he's successful. He's on top of the world for him right now. You know what I'm saying? Everything is going in the direction for him, and that's cool. Seeing that video, you get to know David on a little bit more of a personal level. For example, I didn't know that David was so young, being Gennady Golovkin's sparring partner, or, Kid Chocolate, Peter Quillen's sparring partner, or all of that stuff, That's really interesting, and it's also really impressive, to be honest with you. And again, he's a likable dude. He really is a likable dude. He's jumping up in weight, which is going to be very interesting. Now, in part of this interview, he was asked about Canelo, right? He was asked about Canelo, and he kind of went in again, kind of saying Canelo doesn't want to fight this and that. But he also made some points that sound realistic, like Canelo, is on his way out, meaning that Canelo is looking to retire soon, which he probably is, We've said it many times. Canelo, he already stamped his legacy in the sport. At this point, Canelo's just making money. He already had his career, a great career. When you look at his resume, it's all good. At this point, he's just bringing money in. You know what I'm saying? Much respect to him. So another thing that was interesting, they asked David about his favorite fighters, who he thinks are the top boxers of all time. And I was really surprised at David's list because, and David named like 5 or 6 fighters. He named Oscar De La Hoya, Mike Tyson, Manny Pacquiao, Roberto Duran. I'm not remembering who. Oh, Evander Holyfield. It's crazy because if you ask me, my top five, not one of those guys mentioned is in my top five. You know what I'm saying? But again, you get to know the guy a little bit more. You get to know, okay, when did he grow up? When was he watching boxing? You kind of get an idea of all that, which is pretty cool. David spoke about different places he's lived at, Phoenix, Arizona, to Oregon, to Seattle. He's currently in Miami right now. Really likes it out there, doing his thing. But what I got from the interview overall, man, is that he seems like a really humble dude. He looks like if you seen him on the street, he'll chop it up with you, you know what I'm saying, and do all that. The problem is, and you see it, is that like David is almost like in the middle. I wouldn't call it a battle, right? But I feel like David naturally, and if you look back at interviews from the past before the Canelo fiasco, he's a real humble dude when he talks about his interviews. Doesn't really take jabs, doesn't really do nothing crazy. He's just straight up and down. I think it's like his dad's side, his part of him, is that lashes out and talks crazy like David was talking about Canelo on multiple interviews. You know what I'm saying? When he's calling him scared, when he's calling him all this and stuff. I just think that it's more of his dad's side and the influence of his dad when he talks like that. And, that could really hurt you, as David's seen now. He may not want to admit it. And, David, was talking about he's not going to bow down to no one, meaning Canelo, which, again, Canelo never asks anyone to bow down to him. He's not asking that. But David recognizes who Canelo is too. That's one thing he said, is that he recognizes that Canelo is a living legend, everything that he's accomplished in the sport. It's funny, somebody on the Fresh and Fit, they commented or, a Q&A or whatever, and they asked David Benavidez, that they want him to confront Canelo wherever they may be, because they want Canelo to poop his pants, to say it in nicer terms. And when David said that, he said that he's never seen Canelo in person, but that Canelo's a very, very small dude. And that's when the conversation started coming up in there. They kind of started talking about the fight. And these are where points that I disagree in right here. And I'm going to get into that right now. When he brought up Canelo's height, how small he is, the guys on the Fresh and Fit were like, oh, that's probably why he's scared of you. He's scared of your reach. He's scared of this. So David right away had to counter that. He had to counter and say, I don't think it's the size so as much as when he went up to fight Bivol, because Benavidez's claim was that, Canelo at 68, which Canelo is well served at 68. He's not a big 168 guy. Canelo's not a big dude to begin with. You know what I'm saying? He's not a big guy. He's saying, when he fought Caleb Plant, he fought Billy Joe Saunders, they didn't really have power. They didn't have power, but they were the great boxers. You know what I'm saying? Canelo has faced strong punches. He's faced strong punches. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that's what bothers him. But what I did notice is that David had to jump to the defense really quick and say, when he jumped up in weight and fought Bivol, he saw that Bivol, is a bigger puncher, throws a lot of combinations, and David said that he fights a lot like Bivol. That's where I'm going to disagree. That's where I'm going to disagree and say, no, not true. But it does seem like David is trying to, you could definitely tell that David hears quite a bit about his size for that 168-pound weight division. You know what I'm saying? And I have been one to critique that and even call David a weight bully for that division because, and I know it's boxing. I know if you can make weight, you can make weight. I know if you pass all the tests, all the medical and all that, you're good to go. You got the green light to fight. I get all that. At the same time, though, someone the size of David, who naturally walks around probably at like 220 naturally or so, if he's not getting ready for a fight, he's probably at 220. To come down all the way to 168 is, how I'm going to say it, the opposing fighter is going to look at those things. He's going to look at those things. He's going to see your size. And David probably hears it all around, which I believe is why David had to defend. No, it has nothing to do with the size. He just knows coming up, and fighting different people, there's more power and stuff. The only thing is that even Dimitri Bivol is not the biggest puncher in the world. You know what I'm saying? He was teeing off on Canelo. He wasn't able to stop Canelo, vegan Canelo, for that fight. Not making excuses. I'm just calling it how it is. He wasn't able to stop Canelo or hurt Canelo or drop Canelo. So I don't think it's that. And also, David fights nothing like Bivol. Bivol is like a bunny that throws a lot of punches. You know, Bivol's in there, he steps out. David does not fight like that. David is not as quick on his feet. You know what I'm saying? David's style, in my opinion, although he does throw fast combinations, although he could punch and he seems durable, how he has to plant his feet and everything would play right into Canelo's strengths, in my personal opinion. So the interview is pretty good. Again, you get to see a different side of David, you know, aside from all the chopped and screws interviews where he's just talking trash. Seems like a really, you know, good dude. And honestly, man, I wish the best for David Benavidez. I hope that he just stops with the Canelo stuff and just pushes forward, man. He's at 175 now. If he wins his upcoming fight, which is going to be on the same card as a Tank Davis fight. Wait, and that's another point before I get up out of here that I want to make. Could somebody tell me, please, how are you going to call Tank Davis the best in the sport of boxing? Am I the only one? Am I a Tank Davis hater? Tell me now, because when I look at and I like to think that I'm pretty unbiased when it comes to the sport. When I look at Tank's resume, his resume is very poor. If I'm going to go off of resumes, Devin Haney has a way, way, way better resume than a Tank Davis, and it's not even close. You know what I'm saying? Tank Davis has been sold really good to the boxing public. And I don't dislike Tank, but when I hear people talk about Tank in a certain way, it's like you got Canelo who's in the driver's seat, and then you got Tank Davis who's in the car seat. And what I mean by that is that Tank Davis could fight anyone, and he's just posted as like the greatest face of boxing, the next Floyd Mayweather, this and that. I'm like, yo, pump your brakes. What has he done? And I'm not the only one that says this. Vasily Lomachenko said the same thing. Like, what has Tank really done in the sport other than been sold great to the boxing public? I had to have my moment, dog. David said that, and I had to just say something about it. I highly disagree with him. If he collected a check to say so, good for him, but no one's paying me, so I can say what the hell I want. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, man, y'all go watch the interview. Let me know what you guys think. Drop a comment down below. And y'all have a great day, y'all. It's been good. Much love to y'all. God bless you and yours. And remember, the truth shall set you free. Peace.